Hello everyone, this is going to be a short video for the second paper for our class. This second paper is slightly different from the first paper in that you have to choose two topics instead of one to write about. In order to help with that, I gave you a creative means of doing so. If you choose to do the creative aspect, you can choose either time travel or finding journals or diaries in order to talk about these two topics that you choose. For instance, if you choose time travel, then you either found a time machine or you were given a time machine or something in some way, travel back in time, and you're going to tell me about these two topics that you chose, either a person, place, event, thing, idea, whatever it is. Or if you choose journals or diaries, like you found a box of journals and in there it talks about these two topics. Whichever one you want to do, that's fine. If you do not want to do a creative aspect, if it is too much for you to think about, you can just do a regular research paper over the two topics. That is fine as well. And some people choose that because it's easier for them. Whichever one you choose is fine. The creative aspect is just giving you like a historical fiction vibe that you can kind of have some fun with. But if you choose that, you have to make sure that you are giving me enough content to grade. So make sure you're not spending too much time on the creative aspect, but instead giving me more content than creative aspect. But with the second paper, the two topics, the first topic must be something from after the end of Reconstruction up into the end of the Great Depression. So don't talk about World War II in your first topic. So anything from Reconstruction up to the Great Depression. And then the second topic can be anything from the beginning of World War II up until the present. And when I say the present, we actually stop around 9/11, which was 2001. You can use aspects of today that talk about 9/11. Because we do have about 20 years now of information that we have kind of compiled about the event known as 9/11. So you can write about that if you choose to, but it really needs to be something before that. Nothing recent like the coronavirus and things that's going on right now. We don't have enough information yet to really give a big picture idea. So let's not use anything that's happening currently yet, although this is very historical event that's happening. Anyway, so those are your two topics. The paper itself is due Sunday, April 19th by 11:59 p.m. through Blackboard. It needs to be 4 to 6 pages. Each topic needs to be 2 to 3 pages. And when I say that, I mean your content, your historical content that you're giving me needs to go to the bottom of that second or third page. If you're using the creative aspect, you really need to go on to that third page in order to cover enough content for me to grade. And for each topic, of course, you're using primary and secondary sources again. So 1 primary and 2 secondary sources for each topic, for a total of 2 primary and 4 secondary sources. 12-point font Times New Roman preferred. Some of you in the first paper chose a font that really took up too much space. Although it was 12-point, it was just a space filler, so don't do that. Just choose a font that's normal, and don't try to fill up space unnecessarily. And with that double spacing, make sure your paper's just double spaced. Don't give me extra spaces, or a lot of you put extra spaces in between paragraphs or after the heading or whatever. Don't do that. Just give me the content you're going to give me, and even if you don't make it to the bottom of the required page, we'll go from there. Endnotes and footnotes. Once again, Chicago style is still preferred for this paper. It is a format style, and we talked about that previously, but just make sure you're giving me all aspects of a citation that are needed. the author's name, the title of the work, the publisher, the date it's published. If it's a website, make sure you are giving me the words available from and the entire web address. And also the date you accessed it, and make sure you put in front of that date accessed on, because that separates it from the publication date. So I know this is the date you accessed it, not the date it was published. And give them in notes or footnotes. You choose which one you want to do. Not a works cited page, not a bibliography, not a references page. Just make sure you're using endnotes or footnotes. What else? So, and if you have any questions about this paper, always just ask me, email me, and I can help you with it. Make sure you're using 1 primary, 2 secondary for each topic. They're under papers and content and papers. There's the paper 2 specifications, but there's also a rubric for how paper 2 is going to be graded. And there's an example of paper 2 that you can look at. I did a short example. It's not a full paper, but it gives you a little idea of how to do it if you choose the creative aspect. Once again, if you don't, this is still a research paper. You are researching these 2 topics and telling me what you have found using primary and secondary sources. That is the goal of this assignment, is to teach you and that you know how to research things for yourself and then cite those where you found that information. But if you have any questions, just let me know.